started up again in 2016. It was the school had it built in 2014, and then it kind of went by the wayside. It wasn't taken care of, and then St. Peter's. We talked to St. Peter's folks and asked if they would like to re-enliven the garden out here. So we have a lot of gardeners and folks like that. So they said go for it. The school said do whatever you want, and so we did whatever we wanted. So
Okay.
So the old beds were made out of this brick,
Uh-huh.
which is from the old school building. They remodeled the school building and then they threw the brick out here. So we, yeah, it gets soupy in here.
Yeah.
So we took down all of it. We had a tiller come in and till up all of the soil. And then we got donated these cement blocks and started to build beds from there. The mulch has been donated, the compost donated.
Cool. What? And is this onion here?
These are garlic.
Garlic. Well, I gotta show my daughter this, the little free library, because they have a nice little free library.
Yeah, this was donated by the Uniontown Library. So it's I think it's the first one up in Uniontown.
Ah,
And then there have been a few right after it, but
they're so cool.
yeah.
So we got garlic.
Garlic, yep.
And-
One of our students, third graders last year, asked for tulips. And so I tossed some tulips in just to see if they'd grow. So Timothy wanted tulips. And
Okay. Now each one of these beds is from a different part of the school or church? Or?
The original plan in 2014 was for each grade to take over a bed and cultivate it. The school teachers, they don't have time to do that.
Uh-huh.
And so we've just been growing, whatever we can grow.
Uh-huh.
And we bring the kids out as much as we can to get them out here. These are strawberries,
Sure.
so these are pallets. Trying to show the community that there are different ways to grow things. And this has been our most successful piece is the herb spiral. So it's kind of a study in microclimates, and so it's oriented in a way that the south facing, this is the north facing side, so
Okay.
this is the lowest side of the spiral, so you could have more shade loving plants here. You could also have a little frog pond here if you wanted, because it's shaded. The southern side gets a lot of sun, so you put your sun-loving herbs on the southern and on the west side. And then the top here is kind of is very dry and affected by the weather, so we put kind of Mediterranean herbs like lavender and thyme, which can take really harsh conditions. And so we teach the kids about different climates and where things can grow or not grow.
That is really sophisticated stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been kind of fun.
Kids get to paint their rocks, huh?
This is from third grade. Just last week, they painted rocks for the garden. So they were excited about that. This is an herb spiral.
Herb spiral.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's a guy who wrote a book, I think it's called Edible Landscaping. I can get that book for
Uh-huh.
you. And he has all of these different projects you can do for your garden to make your landscape edible, basically.
Wow.
So this is one and actually this one, East End Community Center, the one out front there, there's an herb spiral out there. They saw what we were doing over here and asked us to build one with the kids last summer. So now they've got one too.
That's very cool,
So the
Erica.
fourth and fifth graders built the herb spiral over at East End.
Okay.
Yep. We had cold tunnels where we had 6 mil plastic over this, and we grew lettuce all winter.
This last winter, did you have that?
Not this year, no. But the winter before, we covered this, and we had kale growing and lettuce growing, just to show people they could grow stuff here during the winter time when it was snowing. So
And
they would lift up on a sunny day. The kids would lift up, and they would see.
and it
lettuce.
was happening,
It
huh?
was happening. Yeah, it worked. We were surprised.
It's a little disbelief in the cameraman's
Yeah, we didn't know if it would
awareness.
work. It was an experiment.
Yeah.
So it worked.
And more garlic.
More garlic. So we're hoping with this, we have kind of an entrepreneurial plan to teach kids. We've talked with local restaurants, and we want to
wow.
teach kids how to sell their produce. And so we're hoping in the future to harvest this and teach the kids how to present themselves to a business. And will you buy our garlic from our school garden?
Wow.
So teaching some job skills.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. We have about 15, 20 folks that are,
From St. Peter's.
yep, that are interested and wanting to be a part.
So this is all of this soil in here is all rich stuff ready to go.
Yeah. And we added, Bruce brought us some compost this year to add to and replenish.
What's in here?
That is, oh my goodness, I just lost it. I think it's Monarda. It's that, is it? Starts with a B.
Okay.
Bergamot, maybe.
I don't
So
know.
it's a insect pollinator attractant.
Okay.
Yeah. This was tomatoes,
Oh,
cherry
okay.
tomatoes last year, and so we tried to go. We have gone with the Edible Schoolyard, Pittsburgh. They have plans online, outlines and planting diagrams and that, and so we have tried to go with what they recommend to plant because it's hardy and it can handle some neglect. And they do crop rotations. So we had tomatoes in the garlic bed last season, 2 seasons ago. So we put them in last season over here, and then we'll move them someplace else. You know, we had potatoes in the far bed, so we're not gonna put potatoes in there again. So we try to rotate crops each season. So this was from tomatoes last year.
Very cool.
Yeah, we had a collaboration with the Rural Arts Collaborative, and so they partnered with the school district to get an artist in residence for Lafayette. And so her name's Diane Adams. If you look her up online, she does larger than life murals, painted murals. And so so she's in the school now this year, working with 6th grade specifically on some indoor mural projects. And then they also wanted to do some stuff with the garden to beautify the garden. So they've made and painted like 50 birdhouses to put out
Wow.
there. They did some of the rocks, which is kind of taken by the weather a little bit, but they've painted some rocks. They're getting some more picnic tables, and they're going to paint these picnic tables bright colors, just make them crazy and wild and that. So
So let's go around the garden then out here. In the corner, that is
a 4-H senior project by a high schooler, and that is a native plants area in the back. And then the mural there was done 3 years ago by 3rd graders with Gateway to the Arts, which is a Pittsburgh arts program. Those 3rd graders are now 6th graders, so they did the mosaic there.
The pond.
The pond is for environmental studies. It's kind of defunct right now, but we're working at getting the liner replaced and getting it back up to speed.
And then in the corner?
The butterfly gardens. So we have lots of milkweed out there in the summer for monarch butterflies, and we've had about a dozen or so monarch caterpillars last year, which is pretty good for the 2nd year.
Okay.
With 5 or 6 plants out there. So.
Wow. Lots of stuff.
Yeah. So.
Well, you got to be proud of this.
It's